everybody, welcome to this week's Ghetto vlog. The postman's bin, let's get straight into it. Okay, so let's kick off this vlog properly, shall we? Like I say, great timing, postman's bin, and if what I think is in these boxes is in these boxes, then there's some real nice stuff in here. We're going to start with this one, which, I don't think this is a game. If this is... This was an eBay purchase of something which I'm very close to having the full set of, and because of that, it's very rare that I see listings for ones that I don't own. Yes, it is that. Right, okay, so viewers of the channel will know I've got that nice, it's one of my favourite displays in here actually. The small Kid Robot Street Fighter mini shelf. I just think it's great. It was one of the first things I implemented when I first built this room. I got the initial layout down, we put like the sofa in, we put Master Chief in, and yeah, I made that tiny little shelf, and it's never changed since. I just think it's great. I love the way it breaks up the games and stuff. But yeah, it's very few and far between that I find Kid Robot Street Fighter figures that I need, and then this one popped up on eBay. And you can see in here, so this was like part of a special box, because normally you buy these in singles. I bought a couple actually in Forbidden Planet when they were relevant. But yeah, this is like a 2-pack. I don't know if this was something that's only available at conventions, and that makes these inside rarer. Because you can see straight away, look. It says there, you've got all the sort of character designs, and it says Versus, and then you've got like the 2-player outfits. So immediately you can see M. Bison wearing his yellow outfit, which is one of the 2-player outfits. So yeah, I'm assuming they only came in these kind of packs. And it never said, but yeah, there's 2 in here. I was wondering if that would be the case. It never said on the listing if there was 2 in here. So there's a mystery one. I mean, we've probably got that one at this point, but here he is, his Balrog. I don't know where I'm going to put these. I'm having to get them like closer and closer on the shelf to be able to fit them all in. I just love these things. I'm gutted they never did a season 3. They did a 1, 2, and I was just expecting a 3 to drop. And then even when Street Fighter 6 came out, I thought, well, maybe now's the time, but it just hasn't happened. Right, so let's see what the mystery one is. I don't think I've got this one either. E-Honda. But like in his Player 2 outfit, so he's got like the green makeup and like the orange, what would you call them, shorts, trunks, whatever it is that sumos wear. I don't think I've got this one. I have looked out there, because this cost me like a £5. Crazy. And to get 2, there can't be many that I don't already own. So yeah, absolutely delighted with that. Small things amuse small minds is what my mum used to say to me, and she wasn't wrong. I'm very, very happy with that. Right, okay, so moving on. This, I know what this is. This has come courtesy of a Facebook group. So this was like, I think an Xbox 360 group. A game I've been after. I'm trying to complete this full series of games. So as soon as this popped up, I jumped straight on it. And yeah, let's get into it. That is Spider-Man, Friend or Foe. I think this now leaves me with just 2 Spider-Man games that I need for my collection. One's hard to find, one's easy to find. But this is a 2007 release, action-adventure beat-em-up platform game. Largely influenced by Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy, this one. You can actually play it 2-player co-op as well, which is interesting. And as with all Activision developed Spider-Man games, this was removed from all digital storefronts in 2014. So as a result, prices of these have shot through the roof. This doesn't have the manual. I already knew about that when I purchased it. I got this for £30, which isn't a bad price. This, hang on. Not again. You know what, I could see straight away it looked off, and then as soon as I've touched the inlay, look, it's like a piece of paper. Like the sort of paper you get at school, not even a good one. 2 weeks in a row, guys, I've had a fake sleeve cover, whatever you call it, insert. That is shocking me. Like, I'll put some overlay on so you can see for yourselves, but this was immediately obvious to me, right? When I saw it, but even more so when I felt it. It's like a piece of tissue paper. I always like to give people the benefit of the doubt, and me and this guy, we've done business before, I'm sure we have. When I went onto the Facebook chat, we had like previous history and sales and stuff, so I'm going to assume that he didn't know. I'm going to believe he didn't know. But like I say, to me it was immediately obvious. This is a fake, and it's not even a particularly good reproduction. That's such a shame, man. Because this is just like all these Spider-Man games, it's just getting harder and harder to find, and I thought I'd be able to tick it off my list. And what's even more annoying was that when I bought this, I checked, and there was a copy in a CX localish to me. And I was able to make a few phone calls, and it didn't have a manual. So I thought, that's fine, I'll buy this one, because this one hasn't got a manual. I can almost guarantee that copy's now gone from a store local to me. So yeah, not gonna lie, man, that one hurts. I've got no doubt that the seller will refund me and everything, but I was hoping I could sit here and say we had 2 Spider-Man games left, and I was probably gonna go out in this video and try and find the one that's quite easy to find, and then get down to one. And yeah, man, that's a bit of a wounder. It is what it is, I guess. The disc is legit, good condition, but yeah, I am not adding that to the collection. There will come a point with these kind of things where people will be able to print them on home printers, and the paper and everything will be so like good that you can't even tell. And once you get to that point where you can't tell, who knows? But you can definitely tell with this one. And that's kind of a knock-on effect, as you're about to find out. So that takes me to this. This is something that collectors love. Again, on a Facebook group, somebody popped up and they had loads of Xbox 360 manuals, so you know where this is going. And again, I've got to give credit to the seller that sold me, friend or foe, because he actually put me in the direction of this. He sent me the link. And because in here is the friend or foe manual. So I kind of like, I was going to sit here and tell you guys that how the universe had sort of like, the planets had aligned and everything had come together, because I bought that cheaper without a manual. Literally a day or two later, the seller tagged me in this, and I was able to pick this up for a cheap price. As it happens, I've only got the manual. But anyway, this specific listing was really good. He had so many like rare, obscure and uncommon 360 manuals, and they were like £4 each or £3 if you bought more than one. Now, there was a part of me, because I was the first person to get to it, right, once I'd been alerted, and not gonna lie, there was a part of me that just wanted to buy them all, or go mad, and just throw everyone that I don't already own, buy it, and then that way, if I do a CX lottery, I can't lose. But it's a collector's group, I didn't want to be that guy. I thought I'd just kind of get the ones that I needed. Thinking I needed that one, which in a way is good now, because if there is the availability to do a CX lottery, I can't lose. Equally, if I can find a cheaper copy that doesn't have the manual, yeah, I'm glad to have it at least. But what was also on there, so remember these cost me just £3 each, was this. I'd given up hope of finding this. So many video games to invest in episodes ago, when these games were all cheap and I told you all to buy them. I did a CX lottery on Splatterhouse. I think it was like £12 at the time, and it didn't have a manual. And I always thought, oh, I'll pick one up down the line. And you know what it's like, it's very rare and infrequent these kind of manuals pop up. So I was delighted to be able to grab this one as well. And there is one other manual in here, but I'm going to keep that one to myself for now, because that is a future pickup that I'm currently trying to work towards. So yeah, like I say, you know, you have to take the positives. Every cloud has a silver lining. At least we've got the manual. So I won't go as far as to say we're halfway there, but it does make it easier for me to now buy friend or foe going forwards, having that, and delighted with that one. So that takes me to this. Actually, there should be a couple. No. Ah, here it is. I knew there was another one. I think we're going to save this one for later in the vlog, but this one we need to open right now because this is relevant. So, this came from, without doubt, the most generous man on YouTube. I mean, he's had that moniker for a while, but he consistently confirms that. Every YouTube video I've watched recently, he's gifted something great to somebody. And this is no different. So I think it was on last week's vlog, maybe the week before, I said that there was a couple of games that I own on the PS3 that I don't own on the 360 that I'd rather have on the 360 because that's where my collecting focus is. And it was Gibbo anyway, I should have said. It's Gibbo, Gib84, a lot of you will have already guessed. Good old Gordon. And he reached out to me and he said, I have a copy of Afro Samurai on the 360, do you want to swap it? I said, great. So I've sent him my copy on the PS3 and he sent me this and everyone's happy. But Gordon being Gordon, that wasn't enough. He sent me a picture of loads of 360 games and he says, is there anything else you need? And I said, yeah, I need a couple more. And he's like, right, cool. And I'm like, how much do you want me to send for you? I should have known, right? I'm not surprised that he said, I don't want to take anything for him, but I tried and tried to pay this man. I tried to give this man money, right? And he wasn't having it. Just, yeah, an absolute legend. So yeah, anyway, Afro Samurai is getting added to the 360 collection. But also managed to pick up Transformers War for Cybertron. So this isn't one I've got too much experience with, but I'd love to add all the Transformers games to the collection. So this is, there's a couple of different Cybertron ones in the universe, and I think there's another one as well. There's one that's in like a cel-shaded like graphics, which really intrigues me. But you guys will know more than me simply because you're seeing the on-screen footage now. This isn't one I've got much experience with. And then I've got, okay. Right, this is not going well, is it? Right, so I saw a copy of Saw and I said I needed a Saw and he sent it to me. Like, absolutely delighted to add it. But now I'm sitting here looking and noticing it's Saw 2. So, as part of that deal where I picked up the manuals, the other manual I picked up was Saw 2. Right? So I've now got 2 Saw 2 manuals. I didn't need to buy it. In my mind, this was Saw. And I was buying the Saw 2 manual, prepping to be able to buy the second one. Guys, it's been a long week or so, right? I'm still fighting this chest infection. And yeah, sadly Mini Ghetto's ill, so no one's getting any sleep in the house. But anyway, Saw 2. Really interesting game. I've actually researched the first one, so I could sit here and give you all the information. But I don't own it. The interesting thing about the first one, which hopefully is the same in the second one, is that they actually had the directors and developers of the movie on board, so that they were able to help with the storyline and the development of the traps that are involved in this. If you've seen the movies, you'll know what I'm talking about. And hopefully that's the case with the second one as well. The general reviews and consensus was that the storyline was good, the inventive nature of the traps was good, but the controls and the combat were not so good. So it got quite a bit of a mixed bag. But yeah, so now I'm on the lookout for Saw, not Saw 2. So at least I didn't buy Saw 2, at least I've only bought the manual. So yeah, like a mixed start to the vlog. All good, really. But this does now take me nicely to what we need to do next. So I'm sitting here now with, I was going to say 3.5, but 3 Xbox 360 games. And guys, we've got to rework that whole 360 area. I've got so many Xbox 360 games that I picked up like over the last couple of weeks, or on the Wednesday's video if you saw that, we added like another 8. Now these, it's just getting a bit mad. Like, this area can no longer house them all. So we're going to have to rework it. I don't know if we're going to put it all out and start again, but there's much 360 work to do, so let's get on with it. Well, that sign has never appeared more relevant. So, as you can see, there's a lot of games to get added. These have all been things we picked up on the last couple of vlogs. This was all from the Wednesday video, and this was, as we've just discussed, courtesy of Mr. Gordon. I did mean to say as well, Gibbo's doing a lot of work currently with the Turnberry Titans for a children's hospital. I'll post a link in the description below, but if you can get involved with that fantastic charity, I know he's doing a 24-hour live stream, which I'll be doing my best to support. Great cause. There'll be a link in the description below. But yes, as you can see, there's a lot, and it's just not going to fit on the shelves the way it is currently. So I need to do some thinking. I don't know if there's the potential here to do 2 double stack shelves. My initial thought was do a double stack shelf, then do 1 continuous run of games. So take out the collector's editions and just have a nice continuous run. Just because I think it'll look nice aesthetically. just to keep that shelf less busy, and then do a double stacker underneath. I don't know if that's going to work. I'm probably going to have to get the tape measure out, see if I can do some sums. The difficulty is you need to leave a bigger shelf on the bottom, otherwise you're never going to get all the collector's editions in, because obviously quite a few of them are taller than the standard sort of shelving width, height, that you have for basic editions of games. So yeah, I definitely think I'll fit everything on. But you've also got to think about the future-proofing element, right? I love collecting for this console. I don't see myself slowing down anytime soon. So yeah, time to probably put the kettle on, stare at this for a while and devise a plan. Okay, so my initial plan to add a second double stacked area is not going to work. Reason being is it wouldn't benefit me. If anything, it would actually leave vacant space I can do nothing with. The reason it works so well here is that this is a riser. Which means you can't move this shelf because that's the top of the original Billy bookcase unit. So you end up with this dead space here, so it works absolutely perfectly to double stack. If you then created a second double stacked area using the same measurements, what you'd be left with, rather than saving space, you'd have double stack, but then you'd be left with 3 or 4 centimeters here, which you can't do anything with. It's not enough space to add another row, of course, so it doesn't really benefit you. You might as well leave the 2 existing shelves as they are, and it somewhat makes it easier to display smaller collector's editions. I have moved around some of the collector's editions just to see what kind of space I'd be working with. I've removed Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Conviction, just simply because whilst I like it as a collector's edition, I've added collector's editions since this that I prefer. It takes up quite a lot of space, and to be honest, I can kind of live without it. So that's probably going to get traded in CX or sold on. So yeah, it does leave me with a few more options. I'm thinking about moving the Saints Row 2 Collector's Edition. Reason being is, because that's quite a long piece, I'd rather have it on the longer side. So obviously this side of the unit are longer shelves than this one, because the unit continues down there where it cuts off. So, I mean, as a percentage, you're taking up, what, 45% of the shelf with that one collector's edition. So I think that would be better served somewhere like here, and then you'd have more of a run of games following it. And then we could potentially do something with the 360 Classics bestsellers. I love the uniformity of them, so they could potentially get bumped up, or maybe get their own like shelf section here. Get them a bit more on display as well. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of trial and error to create the space, but also make it so that I'm happy with it. And then we can start de-stickering and adding all this new stuff. Ignore this. This was a giveaway that I've done on the Ghetto Gang. I asked the Ghetto Gang to guess how much my 360 collection was worth in its entirety. So this is being sent to the winner. Congratulations, Plasmids and Kids. If you didn't see that video and you want to know how much it's worth, then check out Wednesday's video. If I remember, I'll put a link in the description below. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of trial and error now, a lot of me moving stuff around, and hopefully we'll get to a point where I'm happy and have created a bit more space. Right, so I've spent way too long trying so many different things, and I think I've gone about it all wrong. I think my strategy's been wrong. I think what I need to do is de-sticker all that lot and get everything put into like the alphabetical order or in sort of like subset category order, and then do this. Because if I spend too much time doing this, you know, I'm then going to have to add all that stuff anyway. I was trying to get a loose plan, but it's impossible to do a loose plan. Also, I think the 360 Classics, I think I just take them out completely. Forget they exist for now. Get the area how I want it, and then figure that out. Because, I mean, whilst it's not ideal, theoretically they could have their own shelf somewhere else in the 3.0. So, yeah, I think I've been going about this all wrong. I think I need to re-strategize and finally start making some headway, because at the minute I'm getting nowhere fast. As you can see, a lot of stickers have been removed, a lot of games have been cleaned, and they are now ready for the shelves. At least they would be if I knew whereabouts they were going. Okay, so it's taken 20 minutes to get this far, right? So there's still loads to get in. But that's what it's like, the amount of moving and shuffling you have to do. I've accidentally put all these back without putting Darksiders back in. And they do look good just like that, right? Uniform. But then you've also got to display the collector's edition somewhere. And I don't just want to have like a shelf at the bottom, like a lowly odd job, some big, some small, some fat, some thin collector's editions on the bottom. I think it just looks weird. You've got to incorporate them, right? So what if this was a bit of a happy accident? We're going to have to once again move it. So yeah, it's taken me 20 minutes to get less than halfway in, and I've got to redo it all anyway. First world problems, right? Okay, so I feel like I'm definitely starting to get somewhere. All of the standard edition 360 games are now in. As you can see up there, there's still some sleeve covers and steelbooks that need to go in. But generally speaking, really happy with how it looks. We are going to juggle things around a bit more. We'll move some more collector's editions and special editions as we go. But yeah, man, it's starting to come together. Hopefully by the end of the vlog, we'll have this like looking better than ever. There is one other thing I'm hoping to explore. I might have to go and do a bit of digging on the IKEA website, because if you spin this around, this is the rear of my recliner. So this obviously, more often than not, is fully reclined. That's just what I find comfortable. But this one doesn't recline anyway, because in this unit, it's very rare that anyone sits in here, and if you want to be a guest, it's comfortable, you just can't recline, right? Beggars can't be choosers. But what I'm thinking is, could I get some sort of thin unit that could sort of go from this gap and go to like here, so it wouldn't affect my recliner here, and then it could almost be like a full U-shape of 360 games. It would have to be very thin, and obviously the height would have to be perfect, or maybe I can get something built, but it certainly gives me food for thought, because it would be nice to have a full U-shape of 360, and it obviously then future-proof me for 360 collecting going forwards. But like I say, it's coming together. I think this backdrop's looking good behind me, right? But tonight, I'm going to do some gaming. I've spent too many hours looking at these games. I want to actually play some. I'm in that great position where, after finishing Castlevania, I can like explore a few games. I love being able to dip in and out, try some retro games, just have some fun. Don't go in with the mentality of I'm going to complete this. Just try games out, see if they're for me. And if anything pulls me in, then great, go for it. Spend 15, 20 hours completing it. A bit like what I did with Castlevania. But I do enjoy this, just, you know, basically doing what games rooms are for. I love being able to come in here now and just standing, looking around and thinking, yeah, that one, picking one off the shelf and trying it. And, you know, like I say, that's what it's all about. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. And then tomorrow, we are going out on a game hunt. I'm excited. I say I've not been well over the last couple of weeks, so for me to just get out, get some fresh air and go and do what I love doing, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So let's go.
Ghetto.
Good morning, and I am here in the city of Leicester for this week's game hunt. Reason being, well, there's a couple of reasons. Firstly, there's two games that I want, apparently, in the Leicester CEX. I'm hoping I can have an uneventful trip to Leicester CEX. If you watch the vlogs, you'll know
pretty much every time I come here, there's some issue with that CEX. So hopefully we'll have a nice uneventful trip there today. Also, I didn't just want to go CEX hunting, right? I've done enough of that. It gets boring. I want to go to a proper game store. And there's not many better proper game stores to go to than Game Shack. So yeah, I'm feeling good about this one. The day's grey, the weather's miserable, but I'm not. I'm starting to feel a lot better about myself. It's nice to get out of the house, come and get some fresh air, come and do what I love doing, which is game hunting. And yeah man, let's go see what we can find. Okay, so I've made it to my favourite CEX. Let's hope they've got the games in stock that it says they've got in stock on the website. Well, consider that redemption for Leicester City Centre CEX. Not only was it not a negative experience, it was very much a positive one. In terms of the games I went for, there was one that was one on the shelves, one that was supposed to be in stock wasn't. But I had a chat with the guy that works there, and with it being a city centre, we do get a lot of thefts, which is why there's a lot of reprinted covers, as you've probably seen. So yeah, really happy with the game that they did have, but also I got a nice free gift. Which obviously we'll look at when we get back to the 3.0, but yeah, so much better, right, to have a nice experience when you go to CEX stores. So yeah, it's a nice start to this trip. We're gonna have a little wander around now before we make our way to the fantastic Game Shack. Free coffee always tastes better.
I really want this Spider-Man Edge of Time, so don't want to pay a sealed price. It's a shame, but yeah, I want it unsealed. Preferably battered and cheap.
So, rather predictably, I did decide to do one more CEX before we call it a day. I'm heading to Kev's local, the Beaumont Lees one. Speaking of Kev, his game room tour is coming. He's been really busy with work. And obviously he wants to get it right. Completely understandably, before we film the room tour, I've seen sneak peeks and believe me, it's going to be well worth the wait. But until then, let's try and nip into his local and grab some games from under his nose, shall we? Three more games added. Let's go home.
Well, that was a fun day out, wasn't it? I really enjoyed that, I must say, and I've come home with some really nice stuff. But before we get into the stuff that I've purchased in Leicester, let's take it back to the start of the vlog when I was supposed to be opening this box here. And we got distracted by Xbox 360 stuff, which has pretty much been the theme of this vlog, right? But we have some real retro in here. I'm sure some of you will be happy to hear. Okay, so, oh, hello. I could honestly start a mint chocolate shop, but yeah, thank you very much for that. This has come from my friend Steve, Ghetto Gang member Steve. Oh, what else is he? Now, there was a point where I was delighted to get mint chocolate. I still am. But this is where I'm at, both in terms of my health and my age. That this has made me even happier. Like, right on cue. If you know, you know, right? I think these are addicting, man. You get used to these. You can't quite breathe the same air you can breathe when you're on these, let me tell you. So yeah, massive shout out to Steve. You've made an old man happy. Yeah, so Steve messaged me and he said he had a Super Nintendo game for sale that he doesn't think I already own. I don't need asking twice. So yeah, he was right. I don't already own it. I'm very happy to be able to add it to my collection, and that is Dracula. This was released in 1993 and it's based on Bram Stoker's movie which came out the year before in 1992. It's a platformer, and by all accounts it's a pretty average platformer. As you can see on screen now, it doesn't really do much visually to excite me. I like bright colours in my platformers, and well, you know, that's probably inevitable with a game with tones of Dracula. It's probably not going to be like Cheeky Boys that was playing last night, right? But yeah, happy to have it. It's not, I wouldn't know if I'd go as far as say it's uncommon, but it's one that keeps slipping through my fingers. Used to be in stock every now and again at CEX, and I was never quite able to pull the trigger before it went out of stock again. This isn't mint by any means, but Steve did me a good price on this to reflect that. It is complete. We do have the manual, we do have the cart, and yeah, man, really happy with it. There's also like from what I've seen of the gameplay, Van Helsing also features in this, and a few other characters from the movies and from that sort of like franchise and stuff. So yeah, an interesting one to add to the shelves, and always a good day when we can add Super Nintendo to the Super Nintendo collection, of course. So yeah, very, very happy with that. A massive shout out to Steve. Forget the SNES games, forget the chocolate. I've got me some Jakeman's Throat and Chest sweets. Okay, so now let's move on to the Leicester pickups themselves. I'm going to start with the Beaumont Lee CEX, so the footage that you would have seen last. I think most of these you've probably seen on the footage itself. Fallout 3. A couple of weeks ago we went to Derby. They had a copy of this but it didn't have the correct disc. If I'm going to pay more for it, I'd rather have the correct disc. Sometimes you're better off to wait, and this is proof of that. The Fallout game's obviously gone up in price because of the series, so I said I was going to start switching these out. I said if I was going to collect the bestsellers classics, I was going to start like getting the standard copies off my shelf, but I don't know. At this point, I don't know if I'm a collector or a hoarder, because I'm finding it hard to let like the standard iconic artwork and games go. So I don't know. I'm not going to say I'm not going to do it. Equally, I'm not going to do it just yet. And we've sort of moved the 360 classics now. They're in their own spot, so we'll get to all that a little bit later on. But I also picked up a copy of Gears of War, one which I'm surprised I probably haven't found in person yet. And for just £1, I wasn't going to leave it behind, times 2. I picked up another copy. So yeah, what I'm going to do is give one of these away to one of the fellow collectors over on the Ghetto Gang Discord. There's quite a few people that are out hunting and helping each other out constantly, and yeah, it's just, like I've said many times before, a fantastic community for that. People always out in CEX and sending photos, and yeah, I'm very proud and appreciative of the fantastic community that we've got over there, and people just helping each other out, and happy to return the favour when I can. So someone will be getting a Gears of War from me that needs it. And then that takes me to Leicester CEX, and like I said in the footage, right, I've got a very checkered history, shall we say, with that branch. There's been all kinds of issues in the past. I've had rude staff members, I've had Kev getting overcharged by like £70 and then them not even apologising to him for it, and all sorts of other issues. But today was very much the opposite. It was a staff member, I'd never dealt with him before, and he was fantastic, really nice guy, we had a good chat. And there was something sat on the counter, and whilst he was sort of like serving me, because I traded in some of the PS2 stuff that we took out the shelves last week to make home for the Amazing Spider-Man slipcover. I love that thing. Anyway, so yeah, I traded that stuff in, and whilst he was going through that, I thought, I'm going to have to ask about this. And I said, can I have it, mate? And he said, you know what? I cannot believe it's still there. He said, I put it on there yesterday as like a test to see how long it would last, because as you've seen with the amount of reprinted covers, a lot of things go missing in there. He said, every time we put pens out, they go. He said, we go for like a box of pens every week because people steal them. And he said, I can't believe it's still there. And I can't believe somebody's asked. He said, yes, of course you can have it. So it's very kind of him. And that is this little mini House of Dead standee. I love this. You might remember I actually purchased one of these a couple months back now from eBay. It wasn't this one, I actually prefer this one. Like this, me in a few years. My twin. Yeah, really happy with that. And yeah, so very kind of him to let me have that. And like I said, I went to Leicester in part because there was 2 games in the CEX that I wanted. One of which was Amazing Spider-Man 2. At one point that was an easy game to find. It still relatively is. There used to be 2 copies in my local, and you know what it's like, you just think, I'll get it next time, and then before you know it, it's gone. And there was supposed to be a copy of it there, and there wasn't, for whatever reason, but there was a copy of Saw. So yes, I thought I had this at the beginning of the vlog, right? But I had Saw 2, so it felt like I had to go out and pick up the one I thought I was getting to now complete the double, right? So really happy to have both Saws in my collection now. And I had a look at quite a lot of the gameplay footage of both games over the last couple of days. They look really interesting, very much mirroring the movies. I've already said when we spoke about the second one that they did get the writers and directors of the movies in, so yeah, I'm intrigued by this. It seems like very much maybe wants to play in October. I'm not a big survival horror guy, I don't play a lot of horror games, but these I'm really intrigued by, and I did enjoy the first few Saw movies as well. So very happy to have added both Saw games to my collection in this vlog. So yeah, all in all, very positive experience of Leicester CEX, and long may that continue. So That takes me to Super Game Shack. I love that shop. There's always just high-end stuff in there, good stuff. And I don't know. I don't know how to describe this one. I don't like overpaying for things. Now I can't say I overpaid for this. Maybe I underpaid, but I still paid more than I would like to have paid, which I'm better off to just show you. So I ended up buying that copy of Spider-Man Edge of Time. They had £70 on this. He did me a great deal. He did it me for 60, which I was very happy with. I needed a bit knocking off just to convince me, right? Because I didn't really want to be paying this much money for it. But I think 60 quid for this game sealed is a good buy. This game, CX, is never in stock. But if it was in stock, it'd cost you £53 to have it posted out via a lottery. So to pay just £7 more than that to get a sealed copy is great. The issue, I guess, is I would like to play this. I didn't realise this was a sequel of Shattered Dimensions, which is... Where are we? Where are we? I've just moved everything around. Yeah, I didn't realise it was a sequel to this game. And I really want to play this one. So it kind of feels like I'm going to have to play this one after. But now it's sealed. I'm not a sealed collector. I don't really care. I own sealed games quite frequently. But one that's continually going up in value. I don't know if I'll be in a rush to break the seal on this one, just being honest. So maybe at some point I'll sell this and maybe pick up just an unsealed one. But either way, really happy to have it because it feels a bit like redemption, right? From the start of the vlog, where we opened the other Spider-Man game. I don't know where it is now. And it ended up being a fake cover, so that's gone back. So I still need two. I still need two games. I need that one and I need Amazing Spider-Man 2. But yeah, Spider-Man Edge of Time. I've got to say, this is my favourite cover of all the Spider-Man games. A lot of the Spider-Man games have great artwork, but this one's right up there. I love that. Absolutely love that. But this was a 2011 release, and like I say, it's a standalone sequel to 2010's Shattered Dimensions. The story follows Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and Spider-Man 2099, and a few others, as they combat a new threat across space and time, as they attempt to save their timelines, whilst trying to prevent Peter's death from coming to fruition. It sounds a little bit like the Miles Morales Enter the Spider-Verse movies, which obviously came out later. Sounds like a similar kind of storyline to those ones. This apparently got mixed reviews, and from what I've read, it kind of got a lot of 5s and 6s out of 10s, and I think a couple of the reviews that I looked at said that this was the better game, and with this one coming first, maybe this one didn't quite live up to it. But yeah, I didn't know they were a sequel, so it'd be really fun to play through those at some point, and just delighted to have this one because it's just becoming very rare. We've spoke about a couple of weeks ago how Web of Shadows is like the most expensive standalone Xbox 360 game at CEX at least. Arguably the rarest, but Edge of Time is not far behind that at all. This is continually getting harder and harder and more expensive. So very happy to have both of those now, and hopefully I can get the last two that I need and get that Spider-Man subset completed, and then yeah, get around to playing through them. So yeah, very happy with the Leicester game hunt today. Really happy with it. Very 360 heavy, but I don't mind that at all. I'm really enjoying collecting for that system at the moment, of course. So yeah, man, again, with me adding a few more 360 games, it's probably a good idea that I didn't finish the 360 area. So I think that's what we need to do now. We need to jump back in. I really want to get this 360 area not only looking better than ever, that's a given, but also like future-proof myself, and yeah, just get it to a point where I'm happy with where we're at. So let's do that.
Montage.
so everything is in, and I kind of have mixed feelings. Firstly, I'm really happy. I think it looks great. Everything fits. I've managed to keep everything in its sections, even with all the new stuff. So you've got standard editions of the games. The majority of the stuff I wanted forward-facing is forward-facing. You've then got sleeve covers, steelbooks, slightly bigger collector's editions, and even bigger still collector's editions. And whilst I necessarily didn't want this at the bottom, I think it actually looks okay because everything's quite compact. The downside is I've not created as much space as I would have liked. There is this area here which remains clear, and obviously over time what I'd have to do is have fewer things forward facing, but that's a problem for another day. I've sort of adopted the mentality when you're doing your games room to just concentrate on making it look at its best now and then worry about tomorrow when tomorrow comes. But yeah, overall really happy with it, even though it might not look as different from when we started as I initially intended it to. It's a lot of work. This section more so than any. Moving one game creates such a domino effect that, yeah, this has probably taken, I don't know, 2-3 hours of work over the last couple of days just to implement everything. And we've also now got the classics house down there. And yeah, as you've seen on the montage, everything in here is cleaned, tidy, room's looking, dare I say it, better than ever. And that's always a great way to end the vlog, right? Because that is going to do it for this week's Ghetto vlog. Before we get out of here, I just want to say, last week I mentioned about doing a giveaway for the 24 PS2 Steelbook, and it hadn't arrived in time, and I ended up putting it in the comment section. We're going to run that for another week. I now have it in my possession, so if you do want to win that Steelbook version of 24, just simply put Ghetto 24 in the comment section below. If you commented on the previous video, thank you very much for getting involved. Feel free to have another entry on this one, so it's just Ghetto 24 in the comment section below. And is there anything else I'm missing? Is there anything else to say? Come on, England! Enjoy your Sunday, everybody. Hopefully it's a Sunday that's going to go down in history. Hope you've enjoyed this one. If you're not already subscribed, please consider doing so. And there will also be a link below if you want to get involved with the Ghetto Gang and the Discord and everything else that comes with that. But yeah, like I say, man, hopefully this is going to be a legendary Sunday, and hopefully you've enjoyed your start to it with myself. So play your games, keep it retro. I'll see you next week as European champions. In a bit.
Welcome to the Retro Ghetto!
Lock into the retro ghetto.